Okay guys, this is not a drill. Universal are building a theme park in the UK and this is like the best theme park news that could possibly have broken out. It's honestly amazing. When I actually saw the news break out, I was honestly like, what? Like, I cannot believe that Universal are actually going to have a theme park here in the UK. And I wasn't actually going to go and post a video about this, but I just thought, you know what, this is big news for like theme park fans all around the world. The fact that Universal are actually getting a theme park here in this country is just beyond me. So I feel like it's a moment to definitely celebrate. But if you are new around here, then a big hello from me. My name is Sam and I post lots of Disney, theatre, travel and lifestyle content. But today I'm talking all about Universal, and Universal is a place which I do genuinely really love. I've been to Universal in Orlando and it's just one of the most amazing, most immersive experiences ever. And obviously over in Orlando, they've just gone and built Epic Universe, which I've seen lots of vlogs already of people who have gone to Epic Universe, and I have to say it looks so amazing. So if Epic Universe is anything to go by, this theme park in the UK is going to be top notch, and it's something that we don't really have in the UK. We don't have theme parks that are like that in the UK, so it's going to be incredibly well themed, I'm sure. But let's go and break it down for you, everything that we know already about the new Universal Resort. And also along the way, I'm sure I'll be sharing with you all the different lands and rides and themes and IPs that I'd love to see over at this Universal Resort. Let's go and crack on with this video, and first of all let's talk about what we already know about this new Universal theme park that will be opening in the UK. Now, we know that Universal have gone and bought a chunk of land in Bedfordshire. Now, Bedfordshire is about an hour away from central London. It's to be specific, it's about 50 miles from North London and about 20 miles from London Luton Airport. Now, they was very, very clever, I guess, when they picked Bedfordshire as their option. It has fast rail links from London and quite a lot of the major cities in the UK, so you can be at this Universal theme park very, very quickly wherever you are. So that's why they've decided to go and pick Bedfordshire. And it's also right near a major road, so it means that you're able to go and get to Universal nice and quickly by car too. It's also great for international visitors because, like I said, it's really close to Luton Airport and also some of the other London airports. So for those international visitors that are flying into London, they can easily make their way to Universal by either train, like Uber, bus. There's going to be a lot of work that goes on obviously around the site. Obviously Universal have bought this land, but there's going to be so much infrastructure that happens in terms of roads. There's actually potentially going to have its own train station on the resort as well. So they're really thinking about how they're going to go and maximize the amount of visitors that can possibly go and visit this Universal theme park. They're really thinking of like every single thing possible, and it literally just blows my mind that this is only 6 years away. They have 500 acres of land which they have to go and work with, and as we all know, Universal love to create immersive experiences. When you think of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the new Epic Universe, when you look at Dark Universe and like Super Nintendo World, Universal love to do a lot with the space that they've got, and I feel like we're expecting some really big themed areas at this theme park, and it's just going to be amazing to see it all unfold within the next few years. Now, why is this so good for the UK? Well, Universal on the website has gone and basically broken down all the benefits that this is going to have for the UK. Now, obviously, before we've even got to this stage, there were so many consultations that were happening, obviously like planning application reviews, there was meetings that were being held with people from Bedfordshire to see what their opinion was, and obviously it allowed Universal to share what their thoughts were and how it's going to really boost the economy. They've basically said that it's going to completely transform the UK because it will have £50 billion of direct and indirect economic benefit for the UK. It's going to really boost UK tourism, obviously, because I think when we think of Universal, this isn't just going to be for UK guests to visit. People internationally will be coming to this theme park. We don't really have any theme parks like that in the UK right now, where international visitors come to the UK for our theme park. So it's going to really boost the tourism when it comes to that. It's also going to go and create so many new jobs. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister in the UK, has said that himself. He's actually going to create 28,000 new jobs. That's 20,000 during the construction period, and then there'll be 8,000 workers at Universal. A lot of them obviously come from the Bedford area, so it really benefits Bedfordshire. But Universal really are going to become the biggest employer in the UK, which is just incredible to think about, really. Like, I feel like I would love to have a job at Universal one day, because how incredible would that be to say that you work for Universal? Now, at this point, Universal haven't really shared too many details about what we're going to be expecting at this theme park, but they have gone and released a concept art, which I'm going to go and show you, and we're going to break it down, and I'll show you exactly kind of what I think each part of the map is, because I feel like, you know, when you see concept art, it's always really interesting to see what there might be at this theme park. Now, first of all, disclaimer, concept art isn't going to be set in stone. When we look back at the original Epic Universe concept art, there was no IPs that we could really see there. For example, the like Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, we couldn't really make it out from that original concept art. So things are bound to change. I feel like on my first impression of looking at this concept art, I wasn't overly impressed, but I think it gives us a good idea of what this land is going to look like, the shape of the park, what kind of rides we're going to expect there. So I do really like that. Okay, so this here is the concept art that we have for Universal, and I have to say it looks really impressive. It's actually bigger than I think I anticipated. 500 acres is obviously a big amount of land to go and have, but we can see that it has this big central lake area in the middle, which I feel like is like the hub of this Universal park. The fact you have this lake, I really like that idea of having the lake in the middle. It's a little bit like Epcot World Showcase Lagoon, that kind of thing. And then obviously around it, you have all your different lands. Now, it's a little bit difficult for us to go and figure out which land is going to be to which theme. We don't know which IP is going to be dedicated to each land, but I'm going to break it down. I'm going to zoom into each part of the map, and I'll explain exactly what we can see from each section. So all good things obviously start at the entrance, and we have the iconic Universal globe, which literally is going to be so incredible seeing that in real life. The amount of times I'm going to get pictures in front of that will be unreal for sure. But this is obviously where the fun begins. I'm assuming that we have some like security area before we even get to this part. You can see the entrance archways, which is obviously very iconic to Universal. And then on the left-hand side of the entrance plaza, we have this nice building over here. Now, I'm assuming that this will probably be like a merchandise kind of shop, or it could even be like a guest services, that kind of thing. Obviously, at the moment, this is all speculation, so we don't actually know what's going to be inside each building, but that's probably what I'd assume it's going to be. Now, on the left-hand side, you have this building that wraps around, and this is actually going to be the hotel for Universal. Now, it's already confirmed this hotel will have 500 rooms, which is quite a big hotel. I would love to go and see what the theme of this hotel will be. I'm assuming it's going to be very luxury, considering it's right at the park entrance. In the future, will we see more hotels for Universal Great Britain? I'm not too sure, but this seems like a really solid start, and I'm excited to see what this hotel will be like. Now, as you can see, the hotel fully wraps around, which is going to be obviously a big hotel, as we know. And then there's this car park to the side. I assume that this is going to be a car park exclusive to hotel guests only, maybe like an express car parking, I would assume, because obviously it's very close to the entrance. Now, when we look back at the map, the full map, you can see at the top left corner, you can see part of a car park there. So that's why I'm assuming that will be the main car park for Universal Great Britain. Now, that is quite a distance. So I'm assuming they may offer some sort of like tram service potentially, which takes you to the main entrance. I can imagine them doing that a little bit like at Animal Kingdom and like at the Disney theme parks. They usually offer some complimentary transport service to get you from the main car park to the main entrance of the theme park. Now, once you're scanned in and you're through the gates, you can see there's this really cute little water feature that we have right at the entrance, which I'm sure will be a great place for photo opportunities. But this here, I guess, is like the port of entry of Universal Great Britain. Now, it's just a straight path down towards the lake. It certainly does give me port of entry, Islands of Adventure kind of theming and vibe. Obviously not tropical. It doesn't have any palm trees that we can see, but I assume that down this street there will be lots of different shops, Universal stores, maybe like a Starbucks, that kind of thing. Give me very sort of like Main Street vibes, all the things that you need at an entrance to a theme park. Now, when you reach the end of this street, you go and reach, obviously, this beautiful lake lagoon that you have in the middle, which is going to be absolutely stunning. And I really love that they seem to have these viewing areas around this lake. Now, it's going to be an amazing view from this area here, seeing the roller coasters go by. It's just going to be like the perfect space to go and relax. And it's making me think, are we going to see nighttime spectaculars around this lagoon? I really think we are going to see it. Will we see them every day? Monday to Sunday, every evening, every season? I'm not too sure, but it is a gorgeous lake and it definitely gives us opportunities for great nighttime spectaculars in the future. Now we're going to go and head right first into this first land that we see. Is this going to become like are you Team Mexico or Team Canada at Epcot? Like, which way do you go around the lagoon? I feel like this is going to become a thing for Universal Great Britain for sure. But this here is definitely a family land that we can see. What it's screaming, it's very bright, it's very colourful. I'm thinking it could definitely be some sort of Minions land. I've heard this being rumoured quite a few times already, so it could potentially be a Minions land. We have this coaster in the middle, which is obviously going to be a family coaster, and then lots of these buildings around the outside. Another reason why I think Minions here is if we look at the like pointed roofing, it 100% screams Minion Mayhem. Now, will we go and get Minion Mayhem here? I can see it happening. It's a really easy option, a really easy attraction, I guess, to replicate. So I can see it happening, that 4D Minion Mayhem ride. I'm a bit disappointed if that is going to be what we get in this land, but this is the family land of the area, and it kind of makes sense to have that Minions theme. Now, for these other buildings around the area, I'm definitely expecting there to be some really fun, quirky, family-themed Minion restaurants, the type where you get banana-flavoured everything. There's a really big building here, and I assume that could potentially be a theatre, maybe, for a family show. I'm expecting lots of really good entertainment at these Universal parks, so a theatre in this family area would be amazing. Now, the next land that we look at as we go around the lagoon, we have two buildings here. It looks like a pretty small land, so I think maybe we could see maybe two attractions or one major attraction and one really immersive dining experience potentially. But the colour scheme that we're looking at here and the kind of look of the building, I'm assuming this potentially could be a Shrek land. I can imagine that definitely happening. Like a Shrek attraction would be amazing here in the UK, so I would love to go and see that. But there's also been some rumours about this potentially being Lord of the Rings themed, which I have actually never seen the Lord of the Rings films before, so I'd have no clue what is going on in this land. Maybe it'll give me a reason to go and watch Lord of the Rings, but I feel like that would be well received here in the UK, so potentially that's something that could happen. I personally would love for this to be a Shrek themed attraction, but it would be interesting to see how Merlin go and receive that if this is Shrek themed, because obviously Merlin currently own Shrek's Adventure in London, so what will happen with that, especially if Universal are getting this Shrek themed land? Who knows? But it's a very small area. I don't expect there to be too much going on in this area here, but it definitely looks quite green. I'm getting that swampy vibes from the flooring that we can see towards the back there. So I am thinking Shrek, but it could potentially be something like Lord of the Rings. Now, this is where it gets really exciting, because towards the back of the park over here, we definitely have this arena stadium sort of area that we've got. It definitely looks the same as Waterworld. Now, Waterworld is a epic stunt show that they have at the Universal parks. They don't have it at Universal Orlando, but they do have it at the other Universal parks, and I think it would be, again, well received here in the UK. It looks so good. You can clearly see there's fire effects, there's the water effects, so yeah, I'm saying hands down this is going to be Waterworld. This area here looks like it's going to be the biggest area of them all here at Universal Great Britain. Now, I might be wrong, maybe this is more than one IP, but I'm going to assume that this is all one big area. And we're going to first of all go and zoom into this big green coaster that we've got. Now, you can see it is a huge roller coaster. It takes up so much space. I'd go as far as saying this is probably going to be the big thrill roller coaster of Universal Great Britain. It's a really long coaster layout, as you can see. You can see that it obviously starts off, there's like a lift hill, could potentially be a launch as well. It really gives me the Hulk vibes from Universal Orlando. Very, very kind of similar theme and layout. It looks like from the drop as well, you almost twist as you go down. It covers a huge area, this coaster. Like, it's absolutely huge. My favorite element for sure is the fact that it goes over the pathway and then helixes around this lake lagoon that we have and then heads all the way back towards the back of the park. It's going to be very impressive to go and see this coaster from multiple parts of the park. Like I said, when you're at the entrance and you kind of walk down that port of entry and you're by the lagoon, you're going to be seeing this. You're going to be head first with this, and it's going to be very impressive. It's right at the center of the park, but obviously towards the back, so it's going to be great to see from multiple different perspectives. Now, what is the theme of this giant area? Well, for me, just looking at the roofing and kind of what we've seen before at Universal Parks, my guess is that this is either a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World themed area. And it would make sense. This is a huge area, and I feel like they could do a lot with that theme. So for me, it just makes complete sense. As you can see, this is going to be a very stunning area with all the greenery that's around. The buildings look like they're going to be amazing too. I assume these buildings will probably be a mixture of merchandise stalls and also some quick service and table service dining locations. In terms of attractions for this area, as you can see on the very left hand side, you can see what I think is 2 drop towers. So I would assume this will kind of be a little bit similar to Doctor Doom's Fearful over at Universal Orlando, but obviously to more of a Jurassic World theme. I feel like you can also see some almost like canopies and rope bridges around this area too. So again, I'm expecting it to be like an interactive walk-through experience, especially when this park is busy, and for children, these walk-through interactive attractions will be amazing and well received. And then we have this giant show building inside here. Now, I think this was going to be a dark ride of some sort. My initial thinking was a little bit like the Men in Black attraction, but I can't see how that would fit in with the Jurassic World theme. So potentially, would it be like a water ride? I'm not sure. I don't know if we're going to have the climate all year round to have a water ride like this, but I do think some major dark ride to do with the Jurassic World theme will be amazing here at this park. So I can definitely see it happening. It's a really big show building, so I'm expecting a really long attraction in there. Now, going back to this giant green roller coaster that we can see, if it is not a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World themed roller coaster, then what could it be? Now, I've heard again rumours of this being a sort of Wicked themed roller coaster. Obviously, it's green for Elphaba. So could it potentially be a Wicked themed roller coaster? Maybe. Although if we was going to have a Wicked themed roller coaster, I would expect there to be really good theming. And I feel like if that's just a standalone Wicked roller coaster, to me, that just doesn't make sense. If it was going to be Wicked, I'd want to see the big sets. I'd want to see, you know, the Emerald City or Shiz University. I'd like them to have that in there, which we can't see that from this concept art. So for me, I do think this is a Jurassic World roller coaster. Now, our next area that we're going to look at features the second major roller coaster that Universal Great Britain will have. Now, we can see, obviously, it's a blue track roller coaster. It looks very, very unique. You can see it has the spikes at the back, which look huge. Could Universal Great Britain have the UK's tallest roller coaster? Could they go and beat Hyperia? Who knows? We're talking complete nonsense right now, really, when we think about it. This is all rumour, it's all speculation, but the roller coaster looks really, really good. It looks very unique. It's certainly going to be thrilling. We can see there's plenty of inversions there. The spikes are going to be really intense, multiple launches throughout. It looks like the spikes also twist as they go up, so it's going to be a really thrilling attraction, perfect for Universal. Now, this coaster has this huge building in front of it, which is obviously this very unique U shape that it has. And obviously that means that the coaster is going to have an indoor section, an indoor element. Could this building potentially have other rides and attractions inside it, or is it going to be full of queue line? I'm really not too sure what this building actually is going to be inside. Now, the rumour for this area is that this is potentially a Back to the Future area. This here could be Courthouse Square with the clock tower on top of the building. I feel like the coaster would actually match the Back to the Future theme, so potentially that is something that we could maybe see. But I actually do think this area here looks too colourful. There's been other rumours of this maybe even being like a Doctor Who themed area, but I don't think that would necessarily appeal to the masses. Also, James Bond, so I don't know, we could be seeing something like that. I'm a little bit unsure. I think my heart tells me this is probably a Back to the Future area, but who knows? Again, it's rumour, it's speculation, it could all change. Now, in front of this area, we have this little stage area, which is obviously sitting on top of the lagoon with a nice outdoor seating area. Again, Universal is all about the entertainment, just as much as it is about the ride. So I imagine this is going to be a nice area to go and sit down, listen to some live music. But yeah, it will be really nice to have another entertainment show venue here at this park. Now, this final land that we have here, definitely, again, a family area. There's probably about 3 or maybe even 4 different attractions that we have here. We can see that there is a like hot air balloon ride. We've got a potentially teacups attraction, maybe. And then it looks like we have a playground sort of area over here. And then finally, we have this show building. So again, are we going to see another dark ride? Are we going to see maybe a water ride in there maybe? Because we can see, it looks like there's like water or something there. In terms of the theming of what I assume this is going to be, it's going to be family friendly. So potentially with it being colourful and bright, it could be something like Trolls, maybe something like a Dr. Seuss sort of land, although I don't know if the colour schemes are right for that. Something like that, but it's going to be a family-friendly area. Now, like I've said before, this concept art is not final. Things are going to be definitely changing from what we're seeing right now. Like I said, Epic Universe is completely different to that original concept art, so things are always going to adapt and change, and that's very, very exciting. Now, in terms of my first thoughts of seeing this concept art, I think it is pretty impressive. I think we're going to see a really impressive theme park that Universal are going to make. However, I have to say that I am very sad that we're not getting a Wizarding World of some sort. Now, obviously, maybe we are going to get a Wizarding World. There's potential for that to happen. But I just feel like with it being Universal UK, it makes full sense for us to have a Wizarding World. When I think of Universal, I'm thinking of getting my butterbeer. I'm thinking of going and seeing like Hogsmeade and seeing Hogwarts and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, maybe that's something that we're not going to go and get. So I'm quite sad that in terms of when looking around the concept art, none of the lands particularly seem to be so big and extravagant that they're kind of like in your face. And I feel like that's the thing that makes Epic Universe stand out. But I don't want to go and judge it just yet because we have years until we see the finished product, and Universal are going to do a really good job with this. Like, I do genuinely believe it's going to be the best theme park that we have in Europe for sure. And also, I feel like the concept art, obviously that's the first one that we've seen, but we're going to be seeing more concept art as time goes by. They're going to be a bit more specific. We're going to be starting to hear things already. I know that they've gone and trademarked Halloween Horror Nights, so we're actually going to go and get Halloween Horror Nights here in the UK, which is just insane. Universal know exactly how to do a Halloween event, and the fact that we're going to be getting it here in the UK every single year is just going to blow everybody's mind. If you've never been to Universal before and it's going to be your first experience of a Halloween Horror Nights, you're going to be just amazed at just how incredible and scary Halloween Horror Nights is compared to any other Halloween event here in the UK. It also does make me wonder as well how this is going to run, because obviously this is not America, this is the UK. The climate is very different here to it is at Universal Orlando, Hollywood, the other Universal parks they have. Obviously, we're going to be having really cold winters. We have a lot of rain, especially during the winter. So how is a Universal theme park going to run in the same way that we expect it to run based on our experiences at Universal? In my head, I really want this to be a theme park that, you know, has long opening hours. It's open every single day, including Christmas Day. That is what I feel like it needs to be. And I have every hope that Universal will do that. But how it runs in the UK is going to be very, very strange and also very different, because I feel like the culture of the UK is completely different. But in saying that, I feel like Universal have definitely thought about the weather too, because a lot of the attractions seem to be indoors, which is obviously a right move, because again, when it comes to our summers, they can be quite warm and quite unbearable. The UK heat is actually really horrible. I'd much rather be in the Orlando heat than the UK heat. So the fact that we're going to be having lots of indoor rides and attractions is great. What I'm worried about is the coasters, because our theme parks in the UK that we have currently, our Merlin theme parks, are typically open March to November, pretty much. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to be able to open the coasters during the really cold winters, because that's just not been done in the UK yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they go and do that. But I am so intrigued by this project, and I feel like I will be going and following it every single step of the way. So if you haven't already, make sure you go and hit the subscribe button so you can go and follow this Universal adventure, because I literally am buzzing about this so much. Also, if you haven't already, go and follow me over on Instagram, Journeys with Sam, because again, I'll be posting more updates over there. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you have to say about Universal Great Britain. Are you excited for the project? Are you excited to follow along on everything that it has to offer? What lands would you like to go and see? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye guys.